So this video today is about Google Partner Status. If you don't know what that is, you stumbled upon this video. It's the badge or stamp of approval Google gives to people that do manage Google Ads for clients that, of course, run Google Ads themselves, and to do things in a way that Google thinks that they should be done, if you will, and to give you an idea as to like an industry accreditation, but this is common in the IT industry. Microsoft certification gives you the way to know that the person helping you with your computer IT problem has been trained the way that Microsoft says that you should be trained on repairing that particular product, and have the fundamentals down at the very least. Google has their own thing. It's called the Google Partner Program. It's not to be confused with the Google Premier Partnership, which is a little bit different. I won't cover that in today's video. What today's video is going to cover is about the partner status. And since it's been such a common question for me in the PPC firm that I run about partner status, and do you have partner status with Google? And having to go through and discuss these things and explain what the partner status means so they can make an educated decision, because I don't want anybody just to blindly hire anybody, including myself, just because they're quote unquote, a partner. And because that's certainly just not, that in itself is not the right way to go out hiring somebody. Just buying, oh, he's a partner, I hire him. Because there's a lot of different types of partners. And not to say that, I don't want to say partners are bad, Google here. There should be other requirements in hiring somebody other than that. You wouldn't hire an IT person just because he's Microsoft certified or Cisco certified all by itself. I mean, that's a great thing, but that's just your foot in the door. It's like having a degree. You're going to hire someone just because they have a degree? No. Sometimes it's just enough to be dangerous, which you can make up your mind in this video if that's the case or if it's not the case. So if you're considering the significance, found this video as you were considering the significance if somebody is a partner, or is it a partner, or should you hire because they're a partner, I'm going to go through all the pros and cons of what the partner status has done to the PPC ad management industry world, and some of the other people's complaints about it, and so you could make your own decision as to whether or not you want to take full credence in it or just partial credence for yourself, knowing the inside knowledge about what comes from an actual ad manager that's been doing this for 15 years, seeing the program change over time, and what it actually takes to get results with PPC campaigns, which is ultimately the objective is to make profit. Nothing else really matters, yes. So you could put a frame of reference around the whole thing and kind of sift through what other companies that are trying to sell you something are going to say about it, or just what Google's trying to outright tell you about the program, given their limited information that they actually do give you. So anyway, I have a list of things here to cover, like how I typically do in my videos. The very first thing is the important thing on the video: pros and cons of a partner status badge itself, so you can decide for yourself if you think if it's a must-have for you to hire somebody, or not at all, or somewhere in the middle. So anyway, the first thing I'm going to go through is the pros. The very first thing on here is that I'll cover. If someone has a partner status, they probably have a lot of accounts under management, because part of the algorithm, or goes into partner status, is having a lot of ad spend. Which comes from, a lot of times it could be fewer clients, but probably have a lot of clients, therefore a lot of experience dealing with clients. Doesn't mean that they have experience still making money, because making money with PPC is very, very hard. It isn't something that you could just, like IT, you can just check the box, everybody can win. There's a few winners in PPC. Generally it's 10 or 20% of the people advertising make most of the money, and everybody else either makes very little or nothing and just don't know it. So even if everybody was partner status approved, that would not, there would be there's an issue right there with it, which is what I'm going to explain. At the very least, anyway, I'm going to continue on with the pros before I get to that. The person that's got the partner status probably has some more sway with Google's review department. Now, one of the things that a lot of people do, of course, work with a firm, they have experience, they know how to deal with certain issues. Google has more and more things that'll trip their trigger and get your ads disapproved or account disapproved all the time. And when it happens, the reason you're disapproved, it's very vague a lot of times. It frustrates a lot of people. Whereas we ad managers that do this for a living full time know how to deal with those individual issues. And even when it's obscure or hard to deal with, we can go to Google support and usually get better treatment than the average everyday consumer. At least that's at a very low spend. As somebody spends 50 grand a month, that might not be the case per se. But I'm sure this is not mostly who's watching the video. And so we'll move on to the next one. Probably the person with the partner status probably will be familiar with all of Google's new product features. So, which ties into what I'll get in here in a minute. The partner status, a lot of it is, predicated on, do you know all of the things about Google's ad system so that you could, accurately sell them to the user and, i.e., use them, a lot of times to your benefit, of course, to use those things. They know about those things because and then through the process of being a partner and maintaining that status, they have to keep up on it. So therefore, they know what are the new types of ads that you can run that will help you make more money, so on and so forth, which can be of a help to you. But like other things, if just because a child knows how to what dynamite does and you give it to them, doesn't mean you really want him to wire up a building to demolish it. So anyway, now. So with that all said, I'll go into the cons. So somebody who has a partner status and this is not to say this is for sure. I'm not trying to discriminate, put anybody to a box here. This is for you to take in information and decide for yourself. The partner with the partner status may have less robustness in their PPC strategy. So, like I was saying earlier, what makes a PPC manager that you hire make you money is somebody who can, PPC is war. It's somebody who could help you outdo the competition, also trying to advertise on Google. A lot of people don't recognize it, but yes, there's only 4 ad spaces up on top of Google, but there's about 10 to 20 people that are cycling out of the ad space. You can look into the search impression share if you want to review a little bit more what I'm talking about there. And then with that, again, there's only 10 or 20% making most of the money because they have an efficient model to turn the click into $1, or more efficient than everybody else because Google's trying to charge maximum rates for the ads. And so, which they try to then get, somewhere in the middle there. And if you're not above average, in other words, you're not going to make above average money. That's just how it works. Maybe that was the case before, not anymore. And everybody wants the customers in your niche, obviously. So if they use the Google's recommendations from their ad reps and working with them, or they work with the recommendations Google has in their updates on the features and stuff that you normally have to read about and typically use, then they are not going to potentially, and it does happen a lot, not know about the other aspects of what makes money, and they're going to lean more towards educating you on the new stuff more so than what's the stuff that actually makes money, because the new features are irrelevant. You can use the new features as necessary to make money, but just because you know the new features does not mean you're going to be able to make money with PPC. The auto suggestions. So part of the algorithm, which I'll get into now, certainly in terms of whether or not you maintain and stay a partner, is if you have a high campaign optimization score, which is tied to how many of the auto suggestions that the Google ad system itself suggests, which is a computer suggested or based system, or based upon algorithm or AI, is going to suggest things to you a lot of times, which is going to be add site links, add this, add that, which in essence serves Google's benefit because you ultimately spend more. Now they're trying to, I don't want to say they don't want you to make money from those things, because then you would drop out. But again, only so many people can make money, and they're just going to suggest them to you anyway, anything that makes them more money, because they have to serve their shareholders. But you have to apply those suggestions, and if you don't want to, your partner status is in risk, which is the main thing that a lot of people in the ad space, managers, don't like, and would like clients to know, so they don't come off as kind of seeming self-serving or whatever as these issues come up. And AI is not perfect. AI is a long ways from being perfect. If software and AI could do the ad management, well, there wouldn't be ad managers. You would just put your credit card in Google, and then out comes money flying out the other end. And again, like I said, if that were the case, Google would raise the cost per click, and then only some people would be able to make that money again. It's kind of like natural selection, if you will. They, I could tell you for sure, don't want everybody to make an equal amount. They want it to be a race about trying to do it better and serve their user that's searching better, so they get a better user experience. So everybody's forced to try to do a better job, because if people get a good experience from after clicking on the ads, they'll be more willing to click on the ads in the future versus the organic listings, which goes into long-term making Google more money. That's why it's set up the way that it is. So just doing what Google automatically suggests, well, that's only, not to say you can't look at those and rely on those suggestions at all. It's just, if that's all you did, you would have a problem competing against other people who that's not what they just solely do, which is what I'm getting into my next point. If everybody uses the same exact PPC strategy, nobody wins, because of what Google's trying to do with making the system better and pushing people to do a better job. And because of the way the system works, and Google wanted to charge as much as they can, so if it did work for everybody, they would raise the price again. And as I've noted here, everything in marketing is about that. There's a reason why there's not an automated way to do marketing anywhere, and even in an individual niche, because if everybody started doing it, it wouldn't work. Marketing cannot be automated. It's hard to hire marketing people because they have to be artists. They're not, doers. They're not technicians. They're artists who could take in an amalgamation of different things and identify which is the right mix that's going to be able to attract a person and get their attention at a higher rate of time than somebody else. And then so as soon as that works, obviously it's only going to work so long to the same audience, or someone is going to try to copy it if it works too long, and then you have to try something else. So why is it that, so right off the bat, if everybody just took the auto suggestions right away, then everybody would be the same, and then nobody would win for the reasons I said before. And if partner status actually forces you to do the auto suggestions instead of using your own independent strategy and look at them as suggestions, as they are suggestions and not mandatory recommendations, if you will, then there is no opportunity to make the millions of dollars in running the ads that you can. And it's not bad to want to be able to make millions of dollars on your ad and crush the other competitors, because again, either you're going to be the one that gets crushed or you're going to be the one on top. So if you want this to be like, communism where everybody makes the same, it's just not set up that way. So you need, from my viewpoint, you need somebody who knows how to not just check all the boxes. You need to know somebody who knows how to take in the information in your space, know all the stuff that works, identify the stuff that people aren't doing that normally works, do that extra little stuff that gets you the extra mile, and then which gets you on the top and to be in the top 10 or 20%, and that's where you're going to be able to win long term. The ads are going to fund themselves. They're going to keep working day in and day out. You're going to be able to scale up your staff and your operations and have it remain stable, because that person not only is going to get you on top, but they're going to keep doing new things, testing new things out, so they're constantly no way to catch up with them once they do get you to the top, at least as far as the PPC strategy. You maybe have a bigger competitor in terms of volume already, but their PPC strategy isn't as good as yours because you have a better ad manager. Well, then that it's going to be very hard at a certain point for them to fix what they didn't invest in at some point. That's how you should be looking at PPC and hiring an ad manager, and why you should stick with one long-term that can understand things and learn from what they did and do long-term testing, so on and so forth. But the number 2 thing on my short list here is the main way to get Google partner status. I need to phrase it as a question. What is the main way to get Google partner status in 2021? And that is listening to all of Google's computerized suggestions and applying them. So again, it's a fine line. You could apply all those suggestions and then you could do other stuff. But what other ad managers are having an issue with is, what if my ad strategy that I know I discussed with the client is X, and then Google now suggests Y? I have to just abandon it all to do Y? And for all practical purposes, I would hope that an ad manager would know how to do a better job making money in terms of developing a marketing strategy than a computer. That just all it can do is take in raw data and then just spit out an automated suggestion. If you did have that, my opinion is you need a better manager that could do that, because you really are wasting your time and your money then. But that's up to you to decide. Just on the partner status, a lot of it is based upon them doing the suggestions Google provides, because that's a major part of, it's not the only part of becoming a partner, but it's a large part, and it's becoming a larger part. And sometimes I want to say that it doesn't, so at the very least, it doesn't tell you if that person's going to do all the other stuff it takes to make money, because that's not the only thing it takes. So when you hire a partner, you're not really getting the information as to whether or not that person knows how to make any money or not. And so with that, you still have to keep eyes on your PPC manager, know how to test them. And if you want to take a pessimistic view, it actually discourages people that do know what they're doing, don't need any suggestions, know how to kick the butt of all your competition, and don't want to rely on a computer suggestions, because they already know what the updates are that Google has. They know how to use them. They know what works. They know what doesn't work. Not every single thing that Google has works the same way, obviously. Knows how to score those things, knows what works for some companies and doesn't work for others, and wants the freedom to do what they want to do and not necessarily be penalized if they do what they know that you need to do as a client to make money. So anyway, this kind of tells you on an overall, 1,000-foot view of the partner program, and as it applies to hiring somebody, and whether or not, I shouldn't say, you should definitely hire a partner. Know what you got going in with the partner status. This video is meant to tell you, so you know and understand what it means, and then from there, you decide who you want to hire. But this, in terms of the partner status, if you were interested in what it means specifically, I have told you pretty much, in general what it means, or the major factors of what it means, what you're going to get for that, and then how that should then influence whatever part of your decision that it does influence. You have a better feel of that for yourself right now. So hopefully that helped. If you have any questions about the partner status that Google has, you can ask a question down in the comment section. I have a lot of daily videos actually of PPC strategies that talks about actually how to make money with ads, the way the stuff that as I mentioned on this video that the ad manager that you want can do. I discuss those strategies, 15 years of experience on this channel. I come out with a video every day, so you definitely should consider subscribing. And apart from that, you can go to guaranteedppc.com and go to my blog. I have given you step-by-step instructions on how to put together working money-making PPC strategies. If you'd like a little bit more detail on how to make money with PPC, you could go there. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I thoroughly answer your question about Google's partner status and help clear the air a little bit on how to decide on the PPC manager or firm that you want to hire as it comes to the partner status that Google provides.